Today's eMoney tip of the week, I'm going to talk to you about the life insurance gap analysis tool. So this is actually one I got from 3 different advisors on LinkedIn. If you have questions or you want to see me showcase the way we use eMoney in our team or the way we might think outside the box to use it, please give those out to me. That's how I make these tips, because when financial planners get better, remember, the whole world gets better. We're all doing this together. So I've had the question is, are you using this gap analysis tool? And if so, do you like it? And I've had another question out there that said, what's the point of this? And then the other person has said, what's the downfalls? What am I need to be worried about? So let's talk about this. So we got our sample client here, Pam and Jim Helper. We're going to sit into the base facts here. We're going to have our protection in whatever life insurance they currently have. We're going to come in here. We're going to be in decision centers. That's where I love to play. That's where I love to be. And this is where I'm at in front of clients. And so the question just becomes, we're going to go to Monte Carlo, and we're going to go here to Monte Carlo summary, because this is where I believe you should be most of the time. And the question becomes, what if? What if I die prematurely, right? Again, what if I die prematurely? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on alternatives here, just so when I'm about to do this, I'm going to turn these all off. So I'm going to scroll down here just to all off. All right, so we're going to give us a second here to think about this. So you can see, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you are in a 84% probability of success, doing everything you currently do. But what if, God forbid, one of you dies prematurely? Right, so I'm going to hit this what if dies prematurely. If you're not familiar with how this works, you just click right on this. It's pre-built in nowadays. You used to have to go here in advanced facts. You would do retirement and death assumptions, which would only allow you to do one in each individual scenario. You can go here and change. I like to go out 5 years from the person's date of death, because I don't like to see a person dying that year. It causes psychological issues for a lot of clients. And that's that Carl Richards loving side of me, right? But this, what you're going to see here, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you're at 60%. The question becomes, what do we need to build out in terms of protection to get us maybe to yellow or to green, right? Because some people say, like, there's a premature death. I don't need to be whole. I don't need to get back to where I'm at. Maybe I need to get back to 75%. Right? I'm willing to take on that risk, but I'm not willing to take on this much risk. So once you have that conversation, you can come in here and you can put, what do you want? I'm going to put it at 82%, because we're going to go with the baseline. And what we're going to do here, and this is really awesome. So by the way, optimizers are going to be linear. These insights, there's more coming out, by the way. It's going to be using Monte Carlo. So we can go here, and we're going to go here and run solver on this life insurance gap analysis. And by the way, when I'm using this, I do like to use this in front of a client. I think there's a whole psychological of, they see this thing turning. It's usually a little bit faster than this. They understand that it's not me telling them they need to buy life insurance. It's the plan telling them this. It's their own goals telling them they need to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this, put $900,000 on, and boom, you can see right up here. I love this. We can see what it is. Is this probability of success? It's at 83%. So we can go ahead and we hit save the plan. And what this is going to do is it's going to build this right in the plan. So now, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we know that $900,000 is the amount that we need for, in this case, the client's Pam. And you can run the same thing for Jim, right? So we're going to go here and go to the spouse. And again, we're going to make sure these are correct, which they already are, for the sake of time right here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn this back off. By the way, you might want to just go in here and just so you don't get confused, really quick, you're going to go modify techniques, and you're going to call this Jim Term Life or Jim Life Insurance. I don't know what you're going to use for him. I would put 900K here just to remind myself what this, oops, that's Pam. Remind myself what this is. So I'm going to hit done here. And we're going to come down here again. We've got this premature death. You're at 59% for him. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to run the solver. And what's it going to come up with? Again, I think this right here, there's a lot of psychological about this. It's not an opinion. I'm going to talk to you about there's some issues with using this, right? So again, you can turn this on and you can show them right where they're at. And you can also go ahead and save this to the plan. My computer's running a little bit slower. All right, we're going to go here. We're going to hit save the plan. Again, modify that technique if you want to. But what are the issues with this? See, one of the issues with this is now we have this life insurance turn on for both of these. I'm going to turn off the premature death. Like, I'm just going to take the what if where you can just turn it off. And now is this an accurate reflection of their financial plan? And I'm going to tell you no, because what happened? Because that insurance isn't cheap, right? What we got to look at is We got to look at putting what the type is in here. All it's doing, and it's completely accurate for that death benefit solution, it's just looking at what death benefit we need. So most likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to talk to your life insurance provider, or if you do life insurance, I'm going to go out and find a bunch of quotes. But most likely we're going to do $1 million because there's break points in that. I'm going to go and find out what this premium is in here. I'm going to talk to them about what type of policy. This couple, maybe I want a 30-year term with it's convertible, whatever it is. I'm going to have to put this information in here. The artificial intelligence is not going to know that, right? There's no way for it to know what's the right thing for the client inside there. So just know that it's a really great thing. I love to do it in front of a client. I think it's really, really impactful, but we got to go the next step. So it's really great for that what if conversation, but the next is how do we get the solution in there? So make sure you're doing that. The other issue you're going to run into, and let's go back to this what if. So let's go to premature death client, right? So we look here. All this is doing what? It's just killing off the client. And so all it's going to do is whatever your base level of final expenses are, ours are saved to $15,000. What's the needs analysis? So maybe, just maybe, we want to make a 6-month gap. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to come down here and you'd want to go to manage all what ifs. And we're going to go down here to premature death, and we're going to go to edit this. Oops. I just came in the wrong way. It's been a while since I've done one of these. We're going to go down here to manage, add what if, and we're going to call this new premature death needs analysis. Let's go needs. We're going to go here to hit add, and now we're going to add a bunch of techniques in here, and we're going to go to modify techniques, right? You can start adding a bunch of these in here. So you might add in other expenses, and what would that other expense be? Maybe we need to look at a 6 months emergency budget, right? Or we call them transition time, right? Maybe they're going to take time off of work. Maybe we want to add an education expense that was not in their base plan. Maybe only the education expenses in their alternative. So if we're doing needs analysis, just make sure the buttons, and maybe the buttons are already turned on up here. But what I do love is it is looking at their whole goals of funding their retirement, and maybe they do have the education up here. Maybe they already do have the cash flow that they need up here. But that's the one thing to just keep in mind. You might want to create this inside of here, right, to create these different ones. And I didn't build these out that much. You'd want to build out whatever you want. So to make sure that when you're testing for that you're making sure you get that right death benefit by needs analysis. The other one is make sure when you're doing their financial plan that once you do come up with the solving, that you do add the premium in there, because that does affect their cash flow. This is cash flow based software, and the way that they can go and pursue other goals. I love this tool. I think it's a huge upgrade. I can't wait to see the other solvers and insights that eMoney is doing. The more and more they enhance Decision Center, the more and more value they add to the conversations that I have with clients, which allows them to pursue their goals and live a fulfilling life. We hope this tip helped educate and empower you to do more plans for your clients so that you can impact more lives through financial planning. If you have some great tips we don't know about, we'd love to hear about them. If you have a better way of doing what we just showed you, we'd love to hear about that, because we are a noble profession, and together we can elevate the profession.